Next exercise is a plank. Again, great for trunk musculature, especially abdominal musculature, to help limit anterior pelvic tilt or excessive arching at the lower back. So for the setup for this, again, we'll kind of work from easier to more challenging. Right? I can do a basic version where I plank starting low, lifting up from the knees. Again, what I don't want when I do this is to let the back sag down or hike the butt way up. I'm trying to keep everything in a nice straight line. That's fairly easy. You can progress to doing it off of the knees, okay, in a more challenging position. And then tons of ways to make that more challenging as well. I can extend the hip up. I can punch. Okay, when I punch again, I want to limit the side-to-side movement. I'm trying to keep everything in a nice, neutral, straight position, working on trunk and pelvic. Next exercise is a rollout. It can be done with a ball. It can be done with half roller. It can be done with a full roll. Lots of variations and ways to integrate it. But the key with this one is we're using eccentrically a lot of the anterior trunk and abdominal musculature, which we know plays a role in limiting anterior pelvic tilt and subsequently may impact hamstring injury risk or limit hamstring strain if we've got better control at anterior trunk and abdominal muscles. I'm going to go here with the setup. Again, with this, I don't really want to jackknife and hinge. I'm trying to keep a relatively straight line from knees up to shoulder blades in the back of my head. So I'm rolling out eccentrically, keeping that back neutral as far as I can, pulling back up without losing that nice straight line. Next exercise is called Stir the Pot. Great to work on trunk control, especially multiplanar trunk control, to limit any excessive trunk or pelvic rotation or lateral flexion, which we know, again, may potentially influence hamstring injury risk. So we're going to go here. I'm going to set up in a position, forearms on the ball, hips up. I don't want to be arched. I don't want my butt hiked way up in the air. I want everything relatively straight. Anterior core engaged. And I'm going to do circles clockwise and then switch counterclockwise to get that trunk control in both directions. What I don't want is a lot of side-to-side shifting or tilting. I'm trying to keep everything at the trunk and pelvis relatively straight and neutral as I do the motion. Next exercise is a tall kneeling exercise. We're going to do a chop. This can be done with a rope, with a straight bar, or at home it could be done with a heavy band. Again, the setup isn't as important as the exercise itself, or the equipment isn't as important as the exercise itself, and the setup of what you're trying to do. So in this case, again, we're in a tall kneeling position, not arched. I don't want my ribs flared. I want ribs down, back and trunk engaged. I'm going to start with both arms here. Okay, I'm going to pull down. What I don't want to do is twist my trunk, right? I'm using that trunk to prevent myself from twisting. So again, that nice kind of contained, controlled trunk position, down, back up. If I want to make it a little more challenging, I can bring it down and punch. And that'll start to work again, obliques and all the trunk musculature to limit hamstring strains. Another trunk progression in a tall kneeling position we can do is a cable column lift. Again, can be done with a band, can be done with a variety of different equipment. The big thing with this again is set up here. I've got knees pretty much underneath my shoulders, not in an arch position. I'm neutral back, ribs down, not flared out. I've got both arms here. I'll raise. I can punch to make it a little more challenging, but what I don't want is to twist with limiting that rotation or that lateral flexion, so everything's staying pretty stacked and neutral here, up and back. Next exercise, we're going to do some tall kneeling progressions. These are great, again, for lateral trunk flexion and rotational control at trunk and pelvis to limit hamstring strain. So in this scenario, we've got a weight that's heavy enough where it feels like it's pulling me in. I'm going to get in my setup here where knees are straight. I don't want to be in an arch back position. Again, I'm trying to kind of keep my back in a more neutral position where my trunk is engaged. So I'm not emphasizing or reinforcing that arch back position. So I'm gonna go here with the weight kind of pulling me in. I'm resisting that. Trunk set up neutral, push out, push in without letting the weight cross midline. So I'm straight out, straight back in, using all of those trunk muscles to limit that stress.